All recording set. Ready to record? Testing, testing. Well, welcome to the Ant. We are here on the third Saturday of every month. I am your host, Jim Gwynn, and we have a very good program for you tonight. Just a few general announcements. At the break, we're going to be having some cake in honor of Ron, and so that'll be nice. Be sure to help yourself to some of that. There are no nuts in it, so any of you suffering allergies can have it. There will be coffee and tea. Then we'll have the open after that. If you need to go to the facilities, they're over there. Please wait until the end of a poem or something before you get up and move out. That'll be good. Turn off cell phones. And make sure that you patronize our store. We are just sort of hanging out in this space here. When you do read in the open, please make sure that all readings are for a general audience, because we do have children here. So with that said, we'll get underway with our readings. First, going to call up Ron Bremner. He's from Glen Ridge via Lyndhurst, New Jersey, and he writes about incense, peppermints, color of time, in venues such as the International Poetry Review, Antietam, a Leonard Cohen tribute anthology, and Climate of Change. He's twice won honorable mentions in the Allen Ginsberg Poetry Awards, and you will find his 13 ebooks at Amazon, Lulu, BN, and other ebook retailers. Ron invites you to also visit his Instagram poetry. He has a couple sites, beat_poetry1 and absurdist_poet. Please welcome Ron Bremner.
Thanks. Yeah, I want to say first it's an honor to be on the same program as Ms. Bristow. I've read some of her stuff and it's fantastic. Second, I want to thank my lovely wife for providing the gorgeous cake that you'll see back there. And also I want to mention that there will be 2 readings next month in West Orange. April 7th, a Saturday night at the West Orange Arts Council on Valley Road, and next day, April 8th, at the West Orange Library on Mount Pleasant Avenue. I'll be one of about 6 features at each one. So, and I want to thank Jim and Emily for having me. So I'd like to start with the last 2 poems that I've written. In fact, I wrote them both this week. The first one is, I read a poem by a fellow named Brad Aaron Modlin, and I kind of stole from it and wrote my own version of it. This is What I Missed the Day I Was Absent from 3rd Grade. I missed electing the pet hamster class president. I missed the lovely wind that blew our teacher, Miss Delmonico, out of the classroom and into the county jail. I missed the principal's hot fudge Sunday dream. I missed learning that 2 and 2 doesn't have to equal 4 if you don't want it to. I missed the class's conversation with a cloud. I missed learning that nouns can be verbs if they truly desire it. I missed learning how to write my own epitaph. I missed the first day of forever.
Yeah.
This is very short, but it's not a haiku. A dull gray slaps the sky, punches the clouds, but hugs the bay water and kisses the dawn. Shadows of the past swim backstrokes on the stone wall between your eyes and mine. I glance sideways at you and see you glancing sideways at me. The sledgehammer you carry in your heart, orange with rust, demands that you bash the stone wall to bits. As it crumbles like crumb cake, I pick up the crumbs, offer some to you, in hope they will satisfy your craving for sweets and our craving for shadow. This one is a tribute to two poems by my friend Arthur Russell. He wrote a couple of very fine poems with all these phrases in them, and his poem is nothing like this. Midday moon in a black leather jacket strode past my window on a path that owned the asphalt sky. She carried her sneer to a washed dawn in a midnight bathroom of shadows. In pallid mornings, we would leak water between index finger and thumb. Rust bloomed like frost overnight for the men arriving, progressing like light, empty of money. We watched, peeled a layer off the day, exposing the delicate skin and grease of evening. And this one is a found poem. It's made up of phrases from 4 other poems. Robert Browning's Among the Rocks, G.K. Chesterton's A Ballad of Suicide, Nicole Cooley's Triage Sonnet, and Louise Gluck's Omen. I rode to meet the smile of old brown earth. Dreams, like living beings, swarmed around a gallows in the garden, followed me, basking in the sun and burning the bones of the moon. The self I tried to stamp out trailed me without hope, rippling a long, low moan over a heap of stones on the left side of the moon. With brain releasing body, I split apart, an omen of mere event. As decadence decayed, while you chose to be so secret that the very sky seemed small, our bodies pressed together, reflecting the deepest needs of earth itself, like the pages of a book, unwritten, open forever. This poem came out of a workshop run by Peggy Vasallo. It's been published in Diaphanous Press, and I call it Questions for Peggy. Why are you here? The broken plate can hold no food for you. Is it your belief that denial of skin can cause bones to burn? When is the right time to bleed? Who decides when the ugly day is to start? Can one strike a match to the arrival of spring and recoil from its broken promises before it blazes? This is another experimental poem. It's based on G.K. Chesterton's book, or short story, The Paradise of Thieves. You, a mosaic palace rent with earthquakes. I, a Dutch tulip garden blown to the stars with dynamite. Us, the secret of the volcano, the secret of the revolution, that a thing can be violent and yet fruitful. You, it is not my fault that you came. No, it is never your fault. It was not your fault that Troy fell. Jim, I hope you'll give me a signal when it's very close to the end.
Everybody keeping time.
Your step is brutal. It splits the sidewalk. You turn a switch, and all the leaves vacate their trees. Men become stone at the portent of your smile. A sliver of sense from you crowds out the world's logic. And when I finally give in to your inevitability, you vanish, leaving behind the dust of your laugh. This is a poem that appeared in poetsonline.org, run by Ken Rockowitz there. It's a poem for Woody Allen. Woody, why'd you do it? Or did you do it? So many words to filter, so much blather to deal with. How did you, such a refugee from the lights, allow your intimate laundry to wash and dry in public? Well, I guess you brought it on yourself, romancing your adopted daughter, which lit a flaming torch under your erstwhile wife. And now, how can we know whether Mia's dagger words, stabbing all your sins, are real or not? In fact, in a rainstorm of words, how to say which ones are really wet? Oh, Woody, what's a devoted fan to do? I'm afraid I don't know, so I'll just go to the movies. This is called Zika. I rise to make breakfast in the morning. My husband stirs. I leave him to his dreams. Again, I could not sleep. The coffee steams, whistling to me of the beastly warning. When he's off to work, I can sit alone and feel my insides scat and skate. My little one, does he know his fate? He cannot, yet he seems to groan. My day is weighted down with the fear. I will not test. What good will that do? To know the horror has come true? I'd rather have this doubt, the tears. My child, for you I would be so tough. I'd gladly give my life for you. But luck's tricks leave no binding clue. No more can I do, and it's not enough. And the radio personality Joe Frank died a few weeks ago. And so this is for Joe Frank. Joe Frank was the color of vodka and tonic, the taste of dry tamarind, the feel of old leather, the smell of boiling water, the sound of footsteps in the rain. Joe Frank died today, and all these devices go with him to that sardonic place from whence he came. Goodbye, Joe Frank. I will miss you on the rebound of a seance on a wet Wednesday afternoon when the tide is as low as yesterday's coffee. And I would like to do one from the journal Lips, which Jim Gwynn has a large part in producing, and Laura Boss is the editor. This is called On a Teardrop Island. This night screams of betrayal. Its dainty freshness pulls you into a harrowing slide, down a hole, into a field of burnt offerings. Where was he? Who was she? How could they? They alighted like butterflies on the overgrown bushes of your back, tipping off militia that there you were. But Like a slippery chameleon, you rise, changing both form and color to taste the bloody din of a night without pity, and take your revenge on the sweet dawn. And let me see. I'll do just two more. I'll do the two Nicoles. There's going to be an excellent poet here next month named Nicole Cooley, and this poem is called To the Two Nicoles. You are the baddest. You are the coolest cucumber. You consume your clientele. You smell of libraries and barren deserts. You claim saint-like witchhood. You are a carnival of color. Your feet know every city pavement, every wooded trail. Meet me at the carnival, where we'll ride plastic ponies as far as the red dawn. I am in search of your archetype. You've broken my bones. You've broken my brain. You've broken my spirit. And I'm grateful that you've taught me how to be me, alone, though surrounded. Yes, you are the baddest beauty. One of you drowned her toddler daughter. The other snuggles in suburbia with kids and hubby. One of you was cursed from birth to doom others and herself. The other is deaf to curses. And I'm still not sure which of you is which. To Nicole Cooley, poet from Glen Ridge, New Jersey, author of The Afflicted Girls, and Nicole Wallace, recurring murderess from Law and Order, Criminal Intent. I'll do one more. And I want to end on an up note. This is not actually a poem, it's a short story, but it's a very short story. It's called The Cats of Roma. My most enduring memory of Roma is of an occurrence on a cold November afternoon in the Little Green Park, which sits just above and overlooks the Colosseum. A lone woman, looking 90 or more years of age, carried two large shopping bags to a bench. After sitting down, she began to call out something in Italian, which I didn't understand. The most amazing thing that had happened, within seconds, all manner of cats began to appear from all directions. Some came singly, some in groups of 2, 3, or more. The old woman reached into a bag and removed 5 large bowls. These she placed in a row on the ground and filled them with food. Then she sat down to watch. By now there were at least 20 cats, and more coming. Some came through space below a nearby wall, some pranced across the park lawn, and some, I swear, even seemed to climb down from trees. And there they were, this multitude of cats, purring and meowing and eating their fill. They made quite a lot of noise, as you might expect. It was not a sight I'd expect to see in the middle of one of the world's great cities, to be sure. After a while, the woman packed up her things and went on her way, bidding her charges a fond farewell. The cats gradually dispersed, taking their own good time, as cats do. And before long, it was just another chilly day in another park in Roma. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I'd like to mention that Ron has brought a few broadsides, which he has placed on the table, which you can find at the break. They're all free, so feel free to pick them up. Our next reader is Cinderella Risto. She's a poet, essayist, and translator. She was born in Albania. She's written 6 books, poetry, prose, and has translated works by American authors to publish in Albania. Work has appeared in many different places: Lips, Eurozine, Merlit, Poetica, Aleph, other prestigious international magazines. Her latest collection of essays is this book here, The Quest for Redemption. This is a very interesting book. I have it myself, and I've gone through it. It's let me read you a couple of the titles here. Exile from Love and the Quest for Redemption. It's about Wagner's The Flying Dutchman in James Joyce's Ulysses. Another title here, Self-Alienation and the Desire for Self-Formation in Stephen Crane's Maggie, A Girl of the Streets. My favorite here, Auden's Intimate Dialogue with Whitman. Very intriguing, very interesting book. Number of very good essays. She also has available for sale 2 books of her poetry. Very cheap. See her at the break for these books and conversation. And now please welcome Cinderella Risto.
Thank you, Jim. It's an honor to be here, actually reading my poetry. I frequent this event often. I'm excited to read to you guys a few of my poems today. Thank you, Ron, for your wonderful poetry. It was very metaphorical, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Okay. So I'll open up with also the latest poem that I've written. It's called It's Time. Tides harbor grains of peace. When drinking the mire, you find the forgotten path. It pulls you into your echo with a splash. You dive into pentagrams of consciousness to claim the sharps and reach tonality. Peace is a beat. It's time to strum the tides. Next poem is called Journey. The hand of time summons my bones. I didn't eat the parchment rolled out in the desert to absorb my sins and rituals. Instead, I fasted with the wind. I joined the pilgrimage of the lost, explored the fossils of existence to find my path. Now, the hand of time summons my bones, and I grab it to the end. Reaching. They say the heart is a nomad in a desert, seeking to find the well of purpose, water, where it can drown and spring up. Hope, like a handkerchief wrapped around the heart's mind, deflecting heat to keep the beat. Ah, the will to force the well into existence, stubborn as the wind erasing footprints, shaping new mounds of glory for journeymen without paths. Reach low, dear heart, root your veins in. The sand can be forgiving and baptize you with kindness. You must keep the beat. The well. I heard the moan of the well of time whisper to the heavy pebbles sculpted in. I want to hear my echo. We are chained by memories, they said, pulled down by the gravity of sighs buried in the marrow. We miss our shores. I couldn't drink the moan, nor give it voice. It sat muffled under grave mountains, stroking the chords of abandoned dreams. I exist in silence, in the vastness of tears I can't release. A lonely boat unanchored in dry land, waiting to feel the beat of streams. I heard the tap of raindrops on my shell harmonize over sharp edges and rigid cliffs, the moans of another well who reached tonality. My flood is your pain, drink me in, and chisel the stone of self-reflection. I am a new man, seeking to reach your echo, drink me in. Clinging to the chains of defensive reason, the muffled well did not let in. Your flood will crush my structure, to drown is blasphemy. I'll carry silence and seek calm streams. Old friend, just drink me in. The joy I bring is everlasting. Release the flood and join the stream. Thank you. Okay, so a little background. I come from Albania. I moved here when I was 16 years old. I lived in Oregon for a few years. And I wrote a lot of poetry when I moved in here. It was just a way to also deal with the separation from my family across the sea, across the Atlantic. And one of the poems I want to read today, it's called Between Continents. This reflects, my separation from them and my longing. My blood, the Red Sea between continents, I have no staff. Veins are ships traveling to sunsets and sunrises, feeding joy and sorrow to my heart and their hearts. Faces mirrored on my palms, lines connecting my soul to their souls. Will these bridges lead me home? I am the salt, the bride of the waves. I kiss the lips of two different worlds, unable to taste which one is sweeter. A tear